Hi everyone, and welcome to some FPV footage of the maiden flights of the Taro 130. This little brushless quad, I believe it comes in a 120, a 130, and a 150 size. It required me to put in a receiver, and I am running off a Taranis with I think it's an X4RS, the little small one. Interestingly, I had my first soldering applications with a receiver by depinning that and direct soldering onto the S-bus. That's all working very well. I'm not sure I can tell the difference between that and the PPM I've been using, but for certain this little quadcopter feels excellent. I am currently, as I mentioned in the captions, only in angle mode, so a lot of stabilization assistance here, but still this little quadcopter is very responsive. I'm running straight off of the clean flight settings, which came preset on the copter. I have seen some Betaflight setups, which I'm curious to try. I believe Andy RC has some good information on this particular copter and some PIDs. But for angle mode, I was amazed at how wonderful this thing flew around. It still felt sharp. It still felt like it would go where I wanted it to go. You can see here I barely clear that and barely clear this dune. So getting a little cocky for myself, but man, this quad really felt just great, better than any other quad I've flown. And you'll see in a minute when we get to the second flight where I go in rate mode, this thing continues to just feel like it's on rails. It goes where I want it to go. So to give you some perspective on, I guess, my skills and stuff, I have had about 22 or 3 sessions of taking a few battery packs out. Unfortunately, I rarely make it through all the packs I bring before I crash. But I've had some quads that maybe I didn't make the best choices on in the past that required a bit more love and care and tuning to get going. So I've struggled with my confidence as a pilot because I've been flying some quads that, as of now, once I flew this Taro 130, I realized I was just flying quads that really aren't locked in, and I simply don't know enough about tuning or really what a locked in copter feels like. So you see here I flip over right there into rate mode, and I am smiling with my goggles on right now. I'm checking rates here, just wobbling a little bit on the roll access there, and then I just start going for it. This thing feels so tight and just very easy to fly. No other way to put it. It just really flies very well. The camera takes a little bit of getting used to. It is, as you can see, a little bit of a fisheye and a wide angle. Now I have this on my little bladed Ductrix. What I have noticed is it gives you the illusion of speed, and all of a sudden things all come up on you very quickly. So I may consider changing up the camera in the future, but for this quadcopter it is small, and I do intend to keep it on tighter fields like this, or even my backyard or small parks. I'm going to go find some areas to play around with this quad. Honestly, the confidence out of these 2 flights, yeah, tree right there, it's durable too. The confidence I got out of just these 2 flights has made me feel like my skills aren't as novice perhaps as I think they are. And you can see here, I decided to start doing some turns, so I make up some gates, going around some trees and signs here, and this thing just, as I've said before, goes where I want it to go. It's just locked in, and it turns and stays in the air, and doesn't wallow around or flip over sideways or feel like it's spinning out. Just really well put together quad. I believe I spent about $125. I searched around on eBay, and I do think this is the version 2. There's a version 1 where you see some of the camera shots where guys have an up tilt, and there's some carbon frame in the top of the screen. This particular version, I guess, they took off those 2 horns on the front of the top plate. They're not even on mine, so there's no interference, and you can tilt the camera up extremely high. Throttle management. But you don't really need to with this fisheye. I only have about a 15-degree angle now and able to fly around well. So From my first maiden flights here, I'm extremely pleased. If you can't tell from my tone of voice, I recommend this copter, especially for somebody who's new and wants to fly something small but still acrobatic and fun.